Holy Spirit.
Amen.
Oh God, our gracious Father, we ask you to pour out your Holy Spirit upon us. Give us a spirit of insight, understanding, and help. And if there is any wit and wisdom in the words tonight, may they be magnified for your glory and for the good and enjoyment of everyone here. We ask this gift through your Son, Jesus Christ our Lord.
Amen.
Well, welcome to this. Again, well, all right. I'm going to be sitting for most of this fight, but I used to do a stand for everything, but in my old age. So let me know. It's mostly autobiographical, okay? And I'm trying to pick out some of the best incidents and the best stories, and maybe there's a lesson in some of this that may be helpful to people who are here. As the literature about myself states, I was brought up in an Irish Catholic ghetto on the south side of Chicago, all right? And one of the results of being Irish is proneness to skin cancer, and that's why I've got this big bandage on. Or you saw me yesterday at church with a big white thing, okay? But that's part of the pluses and minuses of a certain ethnic quality. Now, when I grew up there, this is the Catholic subculture, all right? Predominantly Catholic. Most of the Catholics were Irish. More kids went to the Catholic school than went to the public school. As far as I know, just about everybody went to Mass, okay? The St. Leo's, the parish we belonged to, had Mass on Sunday, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Plus they had built Leo High School, a Catholic boys' high school, another part of the parish, and they had 8:30, 9:30, 10:30, and 11:30, okay? And these masses were basically filled, all right? Okay, it was that kind of thing, and the church was secure, okay? There were no real differences among Catholics. I had personality things, but everybody agreed kind of agreed with all the doctrines, the practices, and all that kind of thing. Everything was very solid, all right? Now, I'm not going to go through the whole thing. I went to this boys' Catholic high school taught by the Irish Christian Brothers. And at a certain point during that time, it was a custom at that time for priests of various religious orders to go around and give a little vocation talk, it was called. And once upon a time, a Paullus came to my second year high school and gave a talk on the Paullists. Now, up to that, I thought about becoming a priest, but it was not really gelled. And my uncle is a priest, or was a priest, Michael Francis Hurley, okay? And my mother's brother. And but my mother said, if you're going to be a priest, be a religious. They're holier. I know she's thinking about her brother or not. But I know if I want to be, I know she wanted me to be a Jesuit, okay? But anyway, I heard the Paullus. This sounds very interesting. I've told that story before. I don't want to repeat, but the trailer missions and going down to these southern towns, it all sounded sort of converting America, and it sounded also exciting and interesting and so forth. And my high school classmates were appalled when I talked about dodging tomatoes and everything, the trailer missions and all that. But anyway, but my father was not too happy. I remember one night he had a little too much to drink, and he's sitting around the kitchen table and says, Jack, he says, I don't mind you becoming a priest, but I don't want to see you bury yourself in Alabama someplace. But in talking to one of the local diocesan parish priests, Father Devereaux said, the Paullus, they're very intellectual. My father, So anyway, without even going into that anymore, I signed up, okay, and I left home on my 18th birthday. I took the B&O. A lot of people say have no idea what the B&O is. And at that time, the Paullus Fathers had joined. We had what was called a preparatory seminary in Baltimore. It actually was more of a residence and a chapel and so on. And all the classes were taken at St. Charles College, a boarding school for students for the priesthood, run by the Sulpician Fathers, and basically students from many dioceses on the East Coast. And so the Paullus went over there, about an 8-walk through the woods, and we went over there, and we took classes with the other guys. And I didn't really understand that until I went there, but that was the system, and so I took classes. But now I was going into first year college. In those days, you could go in high school, okay, and some of the guys did. But in any case, now I'm not even going to cover the seminary thing. I mean, it was interesting, and I learned a lot. But anyway, we only have one. We don't have a whole lot of time. So I went through the seminary system, and in those days, after high school, it was 9 years, okay? 2 years in the minor seminary that was called, okay? Then after 2 years of college, you go to the novitiate in New Jersey, and then, God willing, you would have 6 years after that at our major seminary, St. Paul's College in Washington, D.C. Now there, all the classes were taught by Paulists, okay, at that time. Now, of course, I joined the Paullus to be a missionary to America, all right? And I was all set to go. And St. Patrick's Day, the day before, the St. Patrick's Day before ordination, I'm already lined up to be ordained May 1st, 1985, okay? 58, 1958. And counting the months all that time. Now it's coming up and I'm ready to go, okay? If I was Ben Hunt, knocks on my door. Comes in, he says, John, he says, would you be strongly opposed to teaching in Baltimore? Now, what had happened, we're getting so many vocations at that time, okay? We're piling in, and the Sulpicians were very strict on Latin. Okay, if you didn't have enough Latin, they kept putting you back years, you have to keep adding extra years to the program. So we're getting older guys and so forth, or somewhat older anyway, who didn't have Latin. And so maybe if we have our own school, okay, our own college, we won't try with high school, but have our own college, we can, give people the Latin they need and get them through the 1 or 2 years and move them on to the novitiate. So we started our own school that had been started, all right? And so we wanted, now I made a decision, which I actually lived up to pretty much the rest of my life, and that is, now, and some guys in the Paullus used to angle for what they wanted. They'd pull strings and get to know the right people and so forth. No, I never did that, okay? I just started out this and said, well, all right. I was reluctant, okay, but yes, okay, I'll do it. What do you want me to teach? Oh, well, I'll get back to you. Okay. Well, it turned out the slot was French, okay? Now, why would we teach French? Well, at that time, of course, French was very popular then. French was just the sophisticated language, culture, the existentialists, Sartre, it was a big thing. But the best Catholic stuff was being written in French. Okay, all the stuff coming up before Vatican II, really French, okay, was the language. And the idea of having 2 years of French, we could teach people a reading knowledge of French, okay? And it's quite possible, okay, with a great teacher like myself. But however, okay, before I could be in teaching, the idea is, I was told, we want to get this school, this college, accredited by the Middle Atlantic States Association, okay? And in order to do that, well, there were a number of things, but we want the faculty to have at least a master's degree in the subjects they're teaching. So we want you to get a master's in French. Now, here's the ballgame, all right? You can live in any of the Paulist houses, okay, where they'll have room for you. You go to one of the universities where the Paulists have a house, and get whatever workout kind of deal, and you can study there. So I started writing to these people. I wrote to the University of Texas. You had to have a year of Texas history. It was anyway. University of Toronto. Okay, a number of places anyway. Nothing was just. And I got a good offer from Catholic University in Washington. I didn't want to spend another few years in that seminary. Okay. So Ed Gleason was in charge of our place in Baltimore. He said, well, John, he says, listen, he says, why don't you look at the University of Maryland? He says, we have this station wagon, and you can commute down there. It's on the road to the Washington suburbs in College Park. Why don't you do that? So I called up, made an appointment with Dr. Paullus, the head of the French department at the University of Maryland. And he was a very genteel Southerner, a very gracious man. Now, in those days, for a Catholic priest to go to a secular university, this generally wasn't done. Okay, I certainly would have been the first, but it generally wasn't done. So this was kind of unusual. So he was very gracious, and he explained why I was there. I needed to get this master's degree and why and all that. Well, Father Kenny, I'm sure we can help you. He said, well, how much French have you had? And I said, I had 2 years. 2 years? What do you mean by that? First year French and second year French. I had it back at St. Charles. And, he says, you're to have 46 credits to the undergraduate major before you can begin studying for the master's. Well, I mean, but they ended up giving me a wonderful deal. I mean, they did. They did all, it really was. And it was really good experience, a really good experience. And actually, that very narrow seminary, it just brought me French literature, all the great classics and all this kind of thing, and meeting all these various people who were there and so on. And I still have it, okay? I don't know how many of you are familiar with the fact that the Catholic Church used to have this index of forbidden books. You are not allowed to read anything, or if you're a good Catholic, not allowed to read these books that were forbidden or condemned by the church, of course. And of course, most of the classics of French literature were all on the list. Almost automatically, things, philosophy, they just, and I got this, I still have it, okay, by permit, an indult from the Apostolic Delegate in Washington, granting me the permission to read books that are on the index. Except those, in this Latin phrase, excesse, obscene. Okay, you're not allowed to read those. So, but as I say, it was a very broadening kind of thing, and I don't want to go through the long thing. Now, notice that this did mean that since I'd gone to the seminary at the age of 18, I was going to end up spending 17 straight years in the seminary. Okay? Now, so my first 8, I was never really a young priest. Okay? The 8 years, now during those 8 years as a priest, I never baptized a baby. I never anointed the sick. I never did a wedding, and I never did a funeral. Okay. Now, there was a Catholic Information Center in Baltimore that helped out. I did baptize several adults. Okay. And so I did a number of other things. I helped out in parishes and all that kind of thing. But, it was kind of interesting. There was a whole, okay, all right. All right, moving on. Well, no, let me just think. Another point I learned as a priest, this whole, by, not angling for what you want. And that is, so much depends on the quality of your predecessor. Who is the one who preceded you in that slot? Okay? It is really wonderful to follow a dud. Somebody's not very likable, somebody's not very competent, Now, unfortunately, most of my jobs, I followed very good, competent people. However, for the first 2 times, this was not true. I followed a Father Larry McDonald, a Paullus, good man in many ways, but Larry had, I would say, a certain unfocused anger. Okay, a certain unfocused anger. And if you're dealing with 18-year-olds, they're not very sophisticated. They sense the anger, and they think you're mad at them. It wasn't really, but they think that you're mad at them. And so I show up, and I replaced him. I'm teaching the French classes, and I smile, and I'm friendly, or I'm new at this, let me, And then, at the end of my time in Baltimore, the only way I got out of there was Larry wanted to come back to Baltimore to work for a doctorate at the Johns Hopkins in Romance languages, and the deal was, yes, you can do that. You go back, teach John Kenny's classes in Baltimore. He'll replace you at Boston University. Okay, so that's the way it worked out. As I say, I learned so much. You know, it wasn't the kind of job I wanted, the teaching in Baltimore, but I learned a lot. And I just realized this much later on. To get the school accredited, we got it accredited, believe it or not. We got it accredited. One of the things the accrediting agency insisted was that you had to spend 5% of your budget on library. Okay? And one of the Paullus, Jack Kirby, a classmate of mine, had gotten a degree in library science, but excellent selection. And we had all these wonderful Catholic periodicals, philosophy, sociology, history, all sorts of good stuff. And I got time to read. Okay. So I'm reading all this pre-Vatican stuff is simmering, during these years, and I got some kind of a taste of that. See? So it wasn't for me the kind of surprise it was for most of my classmates. All right. So anyway, all right. On to, what is this, 1966. 1966, I moved to Boston University. Okay, I'm there 4 years. 1966. Now, things have changed. Vatican II has taken place, and there are a lot of disputes going on in the church. The Catholic Church, people are divided over various issues, and especially the liturgy. This was the flashpoint, okay? Whatever Catholics care about, generally the thing they care most about is what happens when they go to church on Sunday. Okay, that's the thing they care the most about, and that's where we're most likely to disagree and maybe feel very strongly, okay, one way or another, okay. So this is going on, and because of all the changes in Vatican II, priests were pretty restless. Okay, priests were pretty restless. After all, if a lot is going to change in the church, okay, maybe that celibacy thing will be gone. And for you folks, the ban on birth control will be gone, okay, and all that kind of thing. So there's all this kind of unrest and so on. And so, as I say, 1966, it kind of started as a somewhat normal year dealing on the campus. Now, Boston University, notice, that's not the Jesuit school. That's not Boston College, okay? This is a school that's affiliated with the United Methodist Church. In fact, I ended up actually teaching a class in the Methodist School of Theology. So one of my credits that ever won, I whipped that out at the right time. Yes, why I taught at Methodist Seminary, okay? And that was a great experience, And in fact, it was one of those schools that, because it was affiliated, they didn't have a lot of this church and state stuff. And so you could be invited into classrooms, and you could talk religion, and you could do a lot of stuff. Religious chaplain. Boston, that was a very Catholic city, and the university was sensitive about that. So if I'm the Catholic chaplain, they want to make sure that I'm reasonably happy. Okay, a lot of Jews there, huge number of Jews. Some people called BU Jew. Okay, and, Sam Perlman was the Jewish chaplain, and he was pretty vocal. All right, and so we got along great. I was like, well, no, I should get off on it. But anyway, but you have a situation where there's a changing expectations, and so and then the whole atmosphere, Vietnam is going on. Vietnam, the student unrest, the college students' unrest. Of course, the draft is still going on. You can be drafted, okay, and sent over there to fight. But there was an exemption for college students, but that made you feel guilty, and there was a lot, and so there were demonstrations, protests against the university over various issues and so on, and the chaplains were put on the spot. You got to take a stand. Here's a university issue. Are you, or as some Protestant chaplains would put, are you with the students or not? Okay. No, the idea of some of them to be with the students was with the radical students. Okay, and now my censors told me the radicals are about 5%, but they were very noisy and very influential. They took over, they won the student government elections, they ran the school paper and all that kind of thing. And so we had a very left-wing radical campus atmosphere, okay? And it was kind of tricky to know how to deal with. You were put on the spot, you know, and what do you do, all right? Yes, well, in fact, it got so bad, maybe we'll just come to that. It got so bad that at the very end, I'm there 4 years, so you get to know students, you know, again, and a lot of great kids and so on. And Nixon allowed American troops to invade Cambodia, you know, was part of this. And this happened in 1970, and the whole town, Boston area blew up. There were all kinds of universities there. The whole place blew up, and so much so, the university actually canceled final examinations and graduation.
Wow.
So kids that I'd known for 4 years, they didn't have a graduation. They got a diploma in the mail maybe the next month or so, okay? But so that's the kind of an atmosphere that you're in, okay?
Yeah.
Now we had a very nice building, Newman House it was called, and it was a very nice place. And after some dickering and so forth, we got a very good place for our bigger Sunday masses. It was kind of awkward in that we used to have our big Sunday mass in those days. You know, you could only have mass, you know, on Sundays, and you could only have mass, you know, in the morning. All right. So Marsh Chapel was a university chapel, and the Methodist, okay, people had priority, okay, and they would have their service at 11 o'clock. And now we could have a mass after that. But, you know, depending on what preacher was long or whatever else, and we had to run out there and set it up, and we kind of schedule a mass for 12:15, but sometimes we didn't get it started. But anyway, we did. We had a pretty good a following and so on, but it was still very awkward. Till finally, at a certain point, the university bought Temple of Manuel. Okay, this is a big Jewish synagogue or temple right in the middle of their area, and they worked to deal with the Jewish congregation. The congregation could use it on Saturdays, okay, or their Friday night and Saturday, I guess. I'm not sure about Friday night. But the university could use it for, you know, these auditorium-type classes, you know, during the week. Well, as soon as I heard of that, I trotted down and says, well, how about Sundays? How about Sundays? How about lettuce and well, the university, they went along, okay? They would open it up for us and go, and even private, a certain kind of usher service and all kinds of things. Now, I found out later on that the Jewish people weren't too happy, okay? That had been part of the original deal, because, you know, they used to have this, the Ark of the Covenant with lit up, you know, as a backdrop. And I used to like to do Mass with that as a backdrop. It was very interesting. But anyway, so that's good. But anyway, but however, what's that, okay. But now the unrest, okay, the unrest in the priesthood. Now, at the time I was there, we had 10 of us lived in St. Anne's Parish in the Back Bay, okay? This was not very, it's about a 35, 40-minute walk, if you will, a very short drive, even in crowded Boston traffic. But out of the 10, some were parish priests at St. Anne's, but 6 of us were what we called Newman chaplains in those days. We were Newman chaplain. There were 2 of us at Boston University, myself and Jack Geary, classmate of Father G's, and but then we had one guy at Brandeis, one guy at Tufts, one by MIT, and the other at Northeastern, okay? Well, anyway, by 2 years, 1968, 3 out of the 6 left the priesthood in Paullus to get married, okay, or whatever. And I always remember this one night, there was a BU for something, or whatever, I'm coming home to St. Anne's in the evening, and here are 2 of my fellow Paulists going out, and I know they're going out to double date 2 nuns. Now, who's crazy? Who's crazy? Well, anyway. So now, of course, at that time, it was, people wanted, the students wanted a lively liturgy. We got the guitars, we got musical instruments, and we did all kinds of stuff that probably wasn't the best. One time, the final hymn right before Christmas vacation was, I'm leaving on a jet plane. They sang Bridge Over Troubled Waters. And it was a lot of fun, actually. Yeah. And we Newman chaplains, we felt that we were in the forefront of liturgical change. These conservative bishops and Boston and all that kind of thing, they needed to be pushed. And so what we would do was we would try to anticipate the liturgical changes. Often we did by just about a year, Roman change, okay. But here was the big moment for me. Most of you probably weren't around at the time, but Vatican Council, its decision about the liturgy, only said allowed for some use of vernacular languages in the liturgy, okay. It didn't say translate the whole thing, just some use. Now, for a while in the United States, about 4 years, we have this intermediate missal, okay, which parts of it, especially the people's parts, were in English, but parts were still in Latin, especially the Eucharistic prayer, okay? Those sacred words, hoc est enum, corpus meum. We can't touch those, okay? We've used those same words since the 3rd century, all right, in the Roman liturgy. And we can't change that, okay? Well, yeah, maybe we should. Well, all right, all the education. Well, anyway, somewhere in there, one of the other guys hands me what's called the Dutch canon. Okay? Here's a new Eucharistic prayer, originally written in Dutch, but of course translated into English. And it was kind of nice. It was kind of a nice thing, And it was, I found out later on, learning more about liturgy, and it wasn't the best of Eucharistic prayers, but still, it sounded good. And of course, at that time, the flurry, these new Eucharistic prayers, and they all had the magic words. They all included that, but God knows what else they had in them. All right. But anyway, this was kind of nice. I thought, I love to use this. It's against the law. Good. I love to use this. And mulled over it. Finally said, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. Next Friday, weekday mass. Okay, we had a nice little chapel there. We had this weekday mass, and 12, 15 maybe people would come to the daily mass in the chapel. And I knew them all, So I thought, well, we'll try this with them. And I'll explain what I'm doing and why I'm doing it. So I get myself all still. Next Friday, okay? I'm ready to go. Friday comes. I'm ready to go. Where are these? All kinds of people. We ended up with 50 people in the chapel. Well, turned out to be First Friday. The world famous lay clinic is right down the street. And this is the nearest place for Mass on First Friday. And all of these folks came in there, and I didn't know a soul, of course. And they all came in there ready for the daily Mass. And I'm psyched up to do this. So I'm going to do it anyway. Okay? And I gave my explanation, explained it to the people, and I began the Dutch canon. I'm waiting. Will the bolt come from heaven? No, I don't know. And so I did it, and okay, and we went through that, and then some of the folks in the clinic said, well, it was very nice, very nice. And they did. It was the days before what we later come to know as the liturgical police. Okay, so nobody turned me into. Okay, all right. Well, anyway, 4 years. So rather turbulent and disorganized years and so on, but I survived. Okay, I survived. As some of us did. And Now, at that time, the Paullus fathers had a very controversial election, okay? They wanted to elect a whole new administration, okay? And we'd already gone through some kind of a chapter or an assembly in which we came up with a provisional constitution, which Vatican II had authorized. And this time it was going to be a direct election of president, vice president, and so on. Up till then, the Paullus Constitution, we kept trying. The Paullus, being an American democratic kind of group, we always try to have direct elections and all that kind of thing. And, you know, whatever time we send these constitutions into Rome, they'd always say, no, you can't do that, and no, you can't do that. Finally, they sent us their own, 1940. As far as I know, it was based on fascist Italy. And we had to live by that, you know, it's all rigged in favor of the people already in charge, okay? But now we finally have a democratic election, and to the great amazement, Tom Stransky, the candidate of the, quote, liberals, is elected by one vote, okay? And Tom had been studying over in Europe, and so he came back, and Tom had time on his hands, and he went around to every single Paulist house and talked to every single Paulist. And like some guys say, Tom Stransky, when Tom went out, I said, oh, geez, okay, I'd vote for Tom now. So I really kind of turned it around. Anyway, Tom said to me, he said when I was making his round, he says, well, we're putting different people in charge. He says, you're going to be one of the guys I want in charge of something. He says, how about Toronto? And you're good at languages. I didn't want Toronto. He offered a couple of other things. And how about Grand Rapids? Yeah. Now, see, during those years when I taught in Baltimore, as some of you are aware, I had helped out here in the summertime, okay, at the old place, the old place, okay, on Monroe Avenue, and then later on when the place moved to Ionia, and I had helped out different summers. It was, you know, summer in Grand Rapids is a wonderful time. And if you're just out there helping out for a few, for a few months, you know, teaching inquiry classes and, you know, all that kind of, it was a lot of fun, you know. And we used to go to the beach on Wednesdays. You know, it was great. It was a great existence. And, oh yeah, I think. So he gave it to me. Okay, he appointed me. This is the first time I'm going to be in charge. Okay, I mean, I'm this religious superior. I mean, I'm the top dog. Okay, I'm the top dog. Okay. Okay. All right. Now, first of all, maybe just a little word on one of the uniqueness of the Grand Rapids, especially at that time. We had a chapel, okay, and we had mass and confessions and so on, but we did not have parochial responsibilities. We're not allowed to do weddings, not allowed to do funerals, okay? We didn't do the ordinary parish thing. What we did essentially was inquiry classes, okay? And we did them for the whole metropolitan area. Anybody in the metropolitan area, any Catholic parish, if somebody came in and said, well, I think I'm interested in maybe investigating becoming Catholic, go down to the Paulists, okay? And they would send us down to the Paulists. And very happy to do so, by the way. We became very popular for taking that role on. And so we did it for the whole, the metropolitan area included Allegan County at that time too. So it was quite, and we had these large classes that we ran every 5 or 6 weeks, you know, and so forth. And before the RCIA, the priest basically did everything. You instructed them, you interviewed them at the end, and then you conducted a ceremony receiving them into the church. So it was for Paullus. This is what we like to do. We're missionaries. You spend most of your time dealing with non-Catholics. Okay, I loved it. Now, of course, also, you know, when you put a label Catholic Information Center, of course, you had to have somebody on duty and people constantly calling up, and then you're downtown, people calling up and asking questions. So all kinds of stuff came in. Okay, so that had to be handled, but still, all right. This was very interesting, and I really was looking forward to doing that. Well, in fact, one of the things I was told, you know, go to Grand Rapids, you know, it's a gold mine. It's a gold mine. No worries about money. The money is pouring in. All right. Now, I'm going to succeed Father Eddie Lyons, okay? Father Eddie Lyons, and Eddie had been here 13 years. The last 6, he was in charge, okay? He was the director of the center. And very popular in town. He had made, I counted, I just went through the book at one point, I was just curious. He had received, personally, 800 people into the Catholic Church during his time here, okay? So it was very well liked and very popular and so forth. But of course, during that time, he had put his personal stamp on the place. You know, it's not even a parish, I mean, it's an intentional, you know, if you will, community. And so a number of people would come regularly. They would kind of keep a foot in the parish. You kind of keep a parish membership over here, so that if you had to have a funeral, you know, or a wedding or something like that, baby baptized, you know, something like that. But you know, I think they come down here pretty much on a regular basis. So it was kind of accepted. All right, so it was very popular. So I come and discover, well, you know, you're following a pretty big man. And this happened to me every other time, okay? You know, who are you? You're not Father Dave. You don't know all that. You know, you get through all of that. That's understandable because, you know, people have gotten to know the guy. He's visited them. He's done things with them, and they're friends and so forth. And now you've got this stranger on your hands, okay? And I can understand that, but it's not, you know, it's kind of a difficult thing to go. Now, after all the exciting liturgies at Boston University, I discovered, well, one of the reasons like a lot of people are coming to the Catholic Information Center was because they didn't have to sing and they didn't have to give the greeting of peace. Anyway, of course, in any case, as time went on, and you notice the attendance is dropping off. You know, Father Lyons isn't here. This is not the same, okay? And the attendance began to drop off. I remember Holy Week was the light bulb went off, okay? For Holy Week, what we'd done for years, and I could have kept it going, is we'd invite a Paullus father to come from somewhere else and to preach at all the services of Holy Week. We always had a big Good Friday, 12 to 3. I mean, we had all, you know, it was a big deal. We took 4 collections on Good Friday. And you know, it's a big deal, but you have to, of course, for the fly applause, you have to pay his airfare and you have to give a stipend and so on. See, so I remember after the first Holy Week, I sat down and I figured it all out. We lost money during Holy Week. We're not supposed to lose money during Holy Week. All right, okay. Well, yeah, I'll tell the story too, because I just have time. One of the first things that I'm new and I'm excited. This is the first couple of months, okay? And Dave Kelly was the young priest on the staff at that time. Comes up, he says, Johnny says, there's a group of people gathering downstairs, and they're going to present you with an ultimatum. So the ultimatum comes up. It's all written up and signed and stuff like this. And it is either you stop the Ushers Club 50-50 raffle, or we, the undersigned, we're going to leave the center and stop supporting the information center. Okay. Well, you know, I figured, what's this all about, you know? And I did talk to some of these people and so on. Well, first of all, an underlying fact I picked up along the way is the Catholic Information Center Chapel is the place where the best Catholics in town go to Mass. What happened was that in moving to the new location, the place acquired a significant debt, okay, that had to be paid off. And they had decided, rather than going through all bake sales and all this kind of stuff, we're going to have a very dignified way of paying this off. We're going to have On the first Sunday of the month, we're going to take up a second collection. It's going to be called the Green Envelope Collection, okay? And there's going to be a mailing going out, okay, for supporters of the center. The green envelope, okay, and the green letter, okay, as part of explaining what's going on at the center. And this is going to be a very dignified way of raising money, which it was, okay. And now here these ushers come along, and this is a group of older men. They reminded me of my father, okay. Group of older men, nice guys, and they cared about the center and chapel and so on. They're kind of blue collar types and so on, and nice guys. And they met down there, and they wanted to raise a little money. What the 50-50 raffle was, you buy these chances, and then the money is divided 50-50. The first 50 goes out in prizes to the winners, and the other 50 is put into the fund, the Ushers Club Fund, which they use to fix things up around the chapel, and so forth. So I have this ultimatum. Well, I say I talk to people, and of course, it's not usually give an Irishman ultimatums. But anyway, I did talk to the people, and I did nothing. Okay, so I didn't. And so the green letter went on as usual. The Ushers Club 50-50s, 2 or 3 times a year, and so on, for all the time that I was there. Okay, well, we got to do some, but no, wait a second, what do you got to, wait, yeah, first of all, this liturgy is boring and all that, so we got to do this. Well, remember what had happened at BU, and thought, what we need here, all right, first of all, I had this horrible example in the Paullus Brothers in Boston. There's a Catholic Information Center. It was built on the same lines as this, with the same idea behind it originally. Okay, it's changed quite a bit since. But on the same idea, but Paullus decided to do something really different there. They put a rather radical young crowd in, and these people tore out the communion rail, redid the interior of this beautiful kind of old chapel, and effectively told the people who've been coming there for years to get out. Okay. They really basically invited them out. We want to bring a whole new dynamic young crowd in here, which they did, okay, but as I say, I said, well, we're not going to do that here. We're not going to do that here, okay. Well, all right. What if we have a new Mass? Sunday night, okay? Then now the laws have changed. You can have Mass later on in the day. How about 6 o'clock, we'll have a folk Mass. Folk Mass. Guitars and all this kind of thing. We started the folk Mass. We got some young people, the Prues, Gordy and Kathy Prue, they come in and play the guitar, okay? At 6 o'clock, we had a whole new, different kind of liturgy. We had a screen, we projected hymns up on the screen, all right? We had an extended greeting of peace at the end of liturgy, the word with a greeting of peace there, and in fact, it was at times extensive. I remember John R. Solvitz, the usher, who came to see this, and I said, "Guys, I might as well go out for a smoke here." So anyway, and of course, it created a big stir. I mean, it really did. And people started packing in. They started coming in. We did all kind of, I have to admit, some kind of gimmicky things, some illicit Eucharistic prayers and all that. And so on. But those who came, a lot of people loved it. And then a lot of the older folks, you know what? My grandkids want to come to Mass. Yeah. Oh, hey, maybe this isn't a bad idea. Okay, yeah. But then, and of course, people from the morning Mass, well, let's check this out, okay? They start dropping in, taking a look around. Hey, why can't we do something like this, in the morning Masses? Well, shortly after, I got these 2 really nice, cute teenage girls, okay? I remember one of them was Colleen Doyle. One's a singer and one is a guitarist. And they agreed to do the noon Mass, and people loved it, but just. And so ultimately we kind of changed, the whole quality of the liturgy, at the other Mass, but without upsetting anybody and driving anybody out and making them feel uncomfortable. So in the long run it worked, and the money started coming in. So it wasn't. Okay. Now, before I finish with Grand Rapids, there's a lot of stories I could tell, but I'd heard it from Father Eddie Lyons being secretary of the Diocesan Ecumenical Commission. Okay, and we did a lot of ecumenism in those days. Now, ecumenism was among Christians. That's not the interfaith thing we've been doing here in Grand Rapids the last couple of years, with the other religions, but this is all Christian, all right? But at that time, of course, the Catholic Church had changed, and a lot of the churches were beginning to do things together, pray together, talk to each other at least, and so on. And there was really a lot of great ecumenical stuff was going on. And finally, this is the peak experience, okay? The peak experience. And I think it was my idea. I'm not sure. I think it was my idea. But other people went along, whatever, it was a good idea, and people went along with it. Well, what if? What are the two biggest ethnic groups in Grand Rapids? The Dutch Reformed and the Polish Catholics. What if we have a service for the Week of Prayer for Christian Unity in January? What if we have a service in St. Adalbert's, the mother church of Polish Catholics here in town, and we have the best known preacher in the Christian Reformed Church speak at the service? Okay, we planned it, okay? And the service included all kinds of other, Christian groups. We had all kinds of people participating, but that was the basic thing, and word got out. A lot of people, they couldn't believe it. This was going to happen. You gotta be kidding. All right. And so it's all set up and word is out. This is what's going to take place. And it was a night, of course, in January. And the snow comes. It was practically blizzard. But anyway, driving over that, all kinds of cars. God, all these cars are coming. People coming. We got to be there for this. We got to see this happen. I always remember I was in a clergy procession. We had to kind of start from up here somewhere, and then went through a corridor in the basement of the church, and there were all these inscriptions in Polish, and the ladies from the parish preparing. They put a wonderful spread, for afterwards, and Father Ted Chinakowski. These people the Polish people were just so gracious about this whole thing, and so it was the greatest moment. Finally, the big moment of the day, Jake Eppinga, the pastor of Grave Avenue Christian Reformed Church, gets up into the big high pulpit. He's up in the big pulpit, and he looks out at the crowd, and he said, when I was asked to give this talk, I asked, what could I speak about? And I was told they should speak about 15 minutes. It brought the house. Okay. It brought the house. It was just great. It was one of those things, All right. I've got to wait. I got to leave Grand Rapids. Okay. Or maybe I know we want to take. Do you want to take a break now? Or? No.
You need a break?
No, I don't. No, I don't. I can go 3 hours. Okay. I got 3 hours of stuff. Believe me. All right. All good things come to an end, and Grand Rapids came to an end. 8 years. Okay. It's time to go. And although another funny thing is, we had a lay advisory board then, and they drew up a job description for my replacement. And it was a very fascinating document. We're going to send to the Paullus president. This is the kind of man we want to succeed John Kenny as director of the center. And I read, and they let me see it. I looked at this thing, and it was a marvelous document. It included all my good qualities, but made up for all my faults. I'm not sure that Jesus Christ himself. And you got Bob Pinkston, as many of you know. Bob. All right. Well, anyway, it's time to move on. And, you know, I was aware, you know, that, you know, my theology was pretty, the stuff we got, pre-Vatican II stuff at the seminary was not much good. Here I'm teaching and doing ecumenism and all this kind of stuff. What had been going on was at the Catholic University in America, had these sabbatical semesters for priests where you could really be updated, get these good theological courses and really be updated. And I really wanted to do that. Kept being told, no, you're not going, we need you as in charge. And I said, well, yeah, I really want this. So anyway, also, we need somebody for Morgantown, or the parish for West Virginia University, okay. Nobody wanted Morgantown. Nobody wanted Morgantown, okay. Nobody wanted to go there, all right. Well, all right, we finally, a little deal. We're gonna work this deal out. You take Morgantown, we'll give you that sabbatical semester, okay, in Washington, you stay at the Paullus Seminary there, and we'll get somebody to cover for that semester. Father Dick Walsh, okay. Paullus will fill in. He was pretty retired by then, but he'll fill in for you. Okay, so that's the deal. Now, as they say, the priesthood had it before. Father Bud Powers was a marvelous pastor. He was just a genius at getting lay people to feel they really owned the parish and helped and gave them a lot of decision-making power stuff. People loved him. People loved it. He had been there for 4 years, and he said, 4 years in West Virginia was enough. He wanted to get out of there. And so, and they you know, they were kind of hurt by that, okay? And so when I arrived, okay, I'm the third pastor they've had in a half year. And, you know, and so forth. So we're not off to a good start. And maybe just as a preliminary, during the summer, before that, on my vacation, I'd taken the car from here and thought, well, I'll drop some of my stuff off in Morgantown before I go to Washington for the sabbatical. And I take a first look. Well, at that time, I really was trying to stop smoking, all right. And I saw this place. You're back on the, I mean, here's this Newman Hall, beautiful, stately building, but allowed to fall into ruin, okay? Paullus in disgust 12 years before he moved out and rented a house in another part of town. And now why? Well, there was no money. There was no money. Not only is it West Virginia is poor, why is there no money? Well, the previous generation of Paullus, before Buddy Powers, had preached on Vietnam every Sunday. Sunday after Sunday after Sunday, preached on Vietnam. And of course, the faculty were supposed to be members of the parish, okay? According to the bishop had a whole lineup as to who's supposed to belong to this parish and who isn't. And all sorts of faculty and various university personnel were to belong to this parish, okay? And they just in disgust. Most of them had left, okay? And so that was the thing. The thing that I worked at. Well, anyway, one of the things about Morgantown, the good side, really good side, the student participation. It was just marvelous. I mean, I'm just going through some of my old things. I happen to have a file from inquiry classes I did at Morgantown. You can't believe, I mean, you can't believe how many kids were in there taking the inquiry class and becoming Catholics. And also, Catholic kids are brought up in these coal mining towns in West Virginia. 4% Catholic in the state. You know, you're likely to be pretty loyal. And when you come to university, you're going to go to Mass. And also, another factor that gave us a lot of Catholics, students, was the fact that at that time, tuition for West Virginia University for out of the state students was fairly cheap. It turned out for a Pennsylvanian, it was cheaper to go to West Virginia University as an out-of-state student than to go to Penn State, in-state. And the same was true for New Jerseyites for Rutgers, okay? And so we had a lot of Catholic kids who came. And again, like these Pennsylvania kids, these coming out of steel mill towns, you know, a lot of these kids, they were the first generation of their family to go to college. You know, and they really appreciated it. you know, and so on. So we had wonderful. There was just wonderful music and stuff. Really, one of the music group was the Martha McGurvey and the Girls from Singapore. I mean, we had this group. I don't know how they ever got there. This group of girls she showed up from Singapore, you know, and they're Catholics. They showed up from Singapore. I think found West Virginia University. All their parents found it anyway. They were there, and Martha McGurvey was a gal from Pennsylvania, and she took the leadership, and they got all these girls, and so they used to do this wonderful, Sunday mass, you know, for the kids. So it was just a lot of great stuff there. Well, anyway, so I mean, this place is a disaster. All right, so physically, you know, and so forth. Well, it's a long story. It's too complicated to get into. But over time, I was able to persuade Bishop Hodges, okay, to part with it amounted to $500,000, okay, to renovate Newman Hall. All right. Now, the bishop had been unhappy that the Paullus had moved out to a supper house. Priests are supposed to live in a rectory. Okay. Now, Newman Hall or Newman House, Newman Hall. Good, good service. Right? So you'll provide the money if the Paulists will move back into Newman Hall. So we'll renovate the building, put a nice residence for Paullus upstairs, and redo the building. So it was. It happened in steps, of course, and we had to accept the bishop's architect and the bishop's construction company and all of that. And the money ran out at the end. We couldn't do anything with the windows. Okay, we had these old-fashioned windows that go with the ropes. You lift them up and so on. And the ropes had broken, and nobody could fix them. So if you wanted to keep a window open, you got a stick and prop the window open. And then there was supposed to be air conditioning, at least for the residents, and we ran out of money. So window air conditioners. But anyway, the building was actually pretty well. It was really, really good. It was kind of a beautiful job, and we got happy, and people started moving, coming back to the faculty, and a lot of other people. Now, here's West Virginia. We're 4% Catholic. Well, it's Morgantown. Yeah, the first time we saw it, I think I helped out way back when I was in Baltimore. I couldn't believe it. 2 Catholic churches, side by side. Here's the downtown church, okay, St. Teresa's, with its parochial school, which is actually named St. Francis. Okay. Here's Newman Hall, and then here is St. John's University Church, okay, side by side. Well, anyway, there's a history behind that and so on. So the competition, and the parking, of course, was awful, and so the competition was just great. And when I first came there, of course, there was the pastor of the other parish was, I can't think of his name, Italian background. And he was like a Renaissance prince, anyway. And, it was, and he had outfoxed the Paullus, and he was that guy, and so on. But anyway, then he was replaced ultimately by another Italian fellow, John DeMacco, who read all the books on what to be a good pastor was, and he started putting them all in by fiat. Okay, and this rather conservative Italian parish. For example, when they showed up for Easter Sunday Mass and discovered he had put jacuzzi in there to replace the baptismal font. So anyway, suddenly people started gravitating to our church. and so, oh God, all right. So anyway, yes, okay, so that was, and the construction. Well, I learned a lot about construction, First of all, I learned, it kept repeating itself. And that was that architects, and of course, in a couple of places we had a Catholic architect, okay, liturgical architect when it came to churches later on, okay, and they consistently underestimate the costs, okay, and so you come up with this project, and how are we going to raise the money, how are we going to pay for this thing, and we can do it, And then it goes out for bidding, and of course, no, you can't afford this. Okay, So, well, you're going to have to downsize the project, okay? So, and the architect, well, of course, if the architect has to rewrite the plans, he should be paid more for it. Ooh, okay. Okay, all right. So, well, anyway, yeah, okay. This, I have a lot of wonderful stories. I just think, but anyway, one was my 25th anniversary was coming up. 25th anniversary as a priest, and well, we're going to have should have a little celebration for Father Kenny. And that time, they elected, believe it or not, one of the students as the parish council president. He was the senior, okay, Kathy Hu, okay, and now Kathy was very interesting. She actually did a wonderful job as parish council president. Actually, pretty much did the 25th anniversary celebration. Did a wonderful job, okay. She later on became a pediatrician, so I'm still in touch with her. But anyway, she was this great story about her in that her parents had been Catholics in China before the communist takeover. And the two of them had gotten out of China right before the communist takeover in 1948 and had come to the United States, had met here, okay, and married. And the father, Mark, they got a very good job in West Virginia. He was an engineer of some sort. And that's how Kathy had ended up, going to West Virginia University. As she said, her mother said to Kathy, "I don't care who you marry, as long as he's Catholic." And her father said, "Kathy, I don't care who you marry, as long as he's Chinese." Now, how many Chinese Catholics are there? So she never did get a husband, no. Okay. All right, yeah. Well, should we do this? Well, yeah, okay. Let's do it. You have problems, okay. And I don't know how many of you have ever made a marriage encounter. A few? Yeah, okay. Anyway, it's a good thing, okay. Well, anyway, we had a group of people in the parish, and they were enthusiasts for a marriage encounter, okay. Enthusiasm, they kept after me. You got to go. You priest can make this marriage encounter. You got to go. And I'm okay. And finally, somewhat reluctantly, went up to Pennsylvania, one of these marriage encounter things, and had to go with Charlie Tufel, one of the diocesan priests, and we're supposed to interact with each other, writing love letters to each other. Apparently there was a whole spirituality for pastors. There's a marriage encounter spirituality for pastors, and basically the idea is that you are to be married to your parish. Okay. As I say, it was hard to work up a little bit of a lust over my. They would even say that the pastor people to burn. That's a phrase, to burn himself out. Because of his love for the parish, and so they wanted me to adopt this marriage encounter spirituality for the parish. I said, "Well, wait a second now." First of all, I belong to the Paullus fathers, and we have our own spirituality. I said, plus we've got hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of students. This is a university parish. We have all kinds of kids, coming around. So anyway, I got kind of out of the outs with the marriage encounter people. So well, yeah, okay. Well, let's see. Just as this was great. The farewell mass. Okay, my time comes. Well, I took 6 years. Okay, I could have had 8, but the Paullus wanted me to take a slot in Boulder, Colorado. Okay, there's all sorts of stuff going on. The guy in Boulder, Dave O'Brien, had to be moved out for a year because they needed him somewhere else. Okay, the same thing happened when I went to Clemson. But anyway, these things go on. All right. So anyway, but I was willing. So anyway, the 6 years are coming up, and I have this farewell mass. Okay, the farewell mass, and to my surprise, the opening hymn was "Crunch Your Roads." Okay, almost heaven in West Virginia. I thought they'd end with that. Well, no, they ended with Rocky Mountain High. So okay, that's pretty nice. All right. So anyway, but oh God, and as part of this, and Boulder was wow, Boulder was a different animal. All right. In fact, I got a preliminary, because Dave O'Brien, Paullus, he is a genius. Okay, he has this knack for making the people in the parish thinking they are making the decisions when he's making them all. So I know he convinced these people that they should fly me in, okay, and talk to me and have me meet all the different parish groups and see whether they would approve me as pastor of the parish. Okay. So I fly out to Boulder, and it's a beautiful place if you've ever been there and so on, and I'm put through the ringer. I mean, I'm meeting all these different people, and they're talking to me. And I remember this one time they said, Father, I guess he might be a little tired. He says it's 11 o'clock, and I said, yeah, that's 1 o'clock Eastern time, or 1 o'clock in the morning. So they're going through all of this kind of thing, and they think they're making the decision. They ultimately approved. Okay, they did send me a letter approving me. Of course, I knew all along. Paul said they're sending me here. I'm going there. Do you need a break?
No.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay, I don't want to keep those cookies away from you. All right. Okay. Now, all right, well, let's see, how do I start? Yes. Well, I arrive, okay, and I get these messages. This is a perfect parish. Don't you change a thing. Okay. It's a privilege for you to be here. Okay. And now what Dave had done, by the way, okay, Dave was a great hero. When he first arrived, he was the first Paullus there. The place was a mess, of course. And he came in there, he abolished the parish council, abolished CCD, stopped the little kids from hanging around the altar, drove out the people who were living in the church tower, refused to live in the rectory, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, so just, whoa. But anyway, over a year at a time, oh God, this is the greatest parish in the world, all right. Now, in defense of that, he had these two wonderful gals, Sister Donna and Barbara Buddy, who were on the staff, and they were really wonderful. And one of the things that was always held against me, I was never able to replace those two with, I replaced some of pretty good people, if they were not of the same quality. Okay. But anyway, you're getting this thing, this is a perfect parish, don't you change a thing. And so, well, all right, I think I'll just coast for a while. They don't seem to want me to do anything. So I'll coast for a while, and then, you know what? That book that I wrote, I think that really needs to be revised. Things have changed quite a bit with Vatican II, and, when I wrote that book, I think I'd like to sit down and really revise it. So I wrote to the Paullus Press, and I talked to them, and I sat down, and I rewrote. I redid, a version 2 of the great classic. I just really gotten it into the mail. Along comes October 8th, 1985. Okay, sound asleep. Okay, and I had this dream. It's a fire engine, and there's this roar of this fire engine. It's getting louder and louder. Finally, I wake up. It's real. There's a fire. A fire engine outside. Okay. I get up and the phone rings. Police, Father, your church is on fire.
Yeah.
I look out the window. We had a house right across the alley from the church, and here's smoke pouring out of the place. Well, okay. Well, all right. Okay. By the morning, I mean, we have a smoky room, okay, the next morning. Now, if the Boulder Fire Department had not been as efficient and as good, and they'd come later and let the place burn to the ground, it would have been a far easier project. But the interior was gutted, okay? The interior was gutted, and it was arson, okay? Remember, this is arson, okay? Colorado Bird Investigators, they came in and looked at it. We can show an accelerant, kerosene, gasoline, been poured here. This is the way it was. It had a lot of interior woodwork, okay? And this was really combustible things. And so we never found out who or why. So that's always lurking in the background. All the time we got all this thing is going on, okay? And so, we, well, what do we do, okay? Well, people rallied, okay? People rallied. And we had two different things to do. First of all, was survival, okay? How do you survive under these circumstances? Remember some of it, Mary Magdalene, of course, here in this parish, went through some of the same thing. Well, we were able to get this junior high school auditorium, Baseline Junior High School. We used to start calling it St. Baseline after a while. And it was adequate. We rented it, okay? And we rented it for Saturday night mass. We rented it for Sunday, and even a couple of rooms for RCIA dismissal, okay? Kind of a little nursery for the kids, student supper, the evening and stuff like this. So we, that was okay. But that meant that every week, on Friday afternoon, we had to load up the cars and drive and set up your whole liturgical thing. Well, we used to make the altar out of milk cartons, okay? And I tried to do, anyway, half-decent liturgy, with this, some kind of banners maybe and things like that to do something for the space. But, it was adequate, all right? And a lot of people hung on there. We lost about a third, I would say, of the parishioners over time. And, but that was its survival. Then what do you do for your weddings? What do you do for your funerals? Well, the other Catholic parishes were good on that. I mean, whenever we did a wedding, or, okay, that was fine. What do you do for Christmas? What do you do for Holy Week? We believe we did the first Christmas Eve Mass in a Lutheran church in downtown Grand Rapids. We did several Holy Weeks in the First Methodist Church in downtown Grand Rapids, and so on. We did it, okay? So so that's the survival, okay? Okay, what do we do? And then, what do we do with this smoky room? All right? Well, you can imagine what you're going to go through, okay? Architect, insurance, archdiocese, okay? Builders, okay? Now, we have some very good parishioners. They're really formed a very good building committee, a rebuilding committee we called it. And some really good people on that who really did a lot of really did a lot of hard work and so forth. But it was hard. And at a certain point, of course, the typical thing, we brought it down to the Archdiocese and building committee or commission in Denver, and the architect was there and presented the plans, and they looked at these plans and says, "You don't have the dollars to put this up. You don't have the dollars here," they said. And well, it turned out they were right, of course. But a lot of our people were outraged. Okay, and so forth like that. It was just a lot of bad feeling, and that it had to be redone. Okay, actually, ended up with a very good job for the church. It was a long pencil box kind of. It was kind of built like this room, a long pencil box kind of thing. And what we did is we were able to widen the church somewhat, okay, on the side, and then we reoriented the interior, okay? And then we had a separate space for Blessed Sacrament Chapel and so on. And ultimately, it turned out pretty well. And it was, according to the principles of Vatican II liturgical principles and so on, it was really a much better place than what we had before. We really ended up. But it took more than 2 years. As far as October of 1985, we get in there in Christmas of 1987, okay? Big thing on Denver television, they showed pictures of the paper and the fire and then the first mass, and stuff like that. So it was a big occasion, and it was a wonderful kind of thing. but wait a second. Now let's just do a few things. Anyway, we're into this project. Okay, first of all, when I first arrived, I was told there are 3 families that you should consult. Okay, there are 3 families. People point out to me who they were. These are 3 families. They are the people who really know what the parish is all about, and they kind of set the agenda for the faith. You should get to know them and cultivate them. I didn't. I was nice to them. I treated them like everybody. I didn't. Okay. Well, so somewhere in the middle of this whole building project going in, and this is all the money raising and all this going on. I got this phone call. There are 7 parishioners who want to have a meeting with me. Okay, 7 parishioners. And okay, all right. I set up a meeting 1:30 in the afternoon. We had our parish offices were in this house, kind of a rather large house, that served reasonably well actually as a parish office. So we met there, sitting around this big long table, and the 7 people, men and women both, and they just went around to each one denouncing me to my face for my incompetence and what a lousy, terrible job I was doing as pastor of the parish. I was not accomplishing the parish agenda. I was not taking care of the students. I was not, it was the whole thing. And after denouncing me for an hour and a half, they told, in addition to this, okay, we're circulating a petition among the parishioners to have you, it's a letter to President Dewan, Father Dewan, President of the Paullus Fathers, to have you removed as pastor of this parish. Well, I was hurt, I was hurt. I mean, here they actually gave me a copy of the petition. For years, I remember the signatures. A counter petition was passed around, got twice as many signatures. Okay, all right, but and of course, this included members of those 3. And of course, they were the insiders of the previous regime, and their agenda wasn't getting done. They had a kind of a social justice idea of the parish. This is social justice parish. We have a food bank here. This is a wonderful thing, this food bank we have here. And all kinds of social justice projects are the one their favorite was about 20 miles south of Boulder. There was a factory that built triggers for nuclear bombs. It was called Rocky Flats. And they used to periodically go down on a Saturday or Sunday and picket Rocky Flats. Okay, now, I guess early on they realized I wasn't going to go down and picket Rocky Flats. Okay, I didn't. But anyway, their agenda wasn't getting done, but as I say, survival, what do we do? So anyway, yes, all right. Okay, all right, this, okay, we're running out of time. Anyway, we have a change, a dramatic change in the archdiocese. Archbishop Vincent Casey, died. He had been at the Vatican II, nice guy, kind of somewhat on the order of Bishop Rose here, and so on. Permissive, so he could do everything he wanted, but still, it was an idea. And Southern presented with Francis Stafford, new Archbishop, originally from Baltimore. He came in, and we're presented with a whole new Roman agenda, okay? A letter went around with like 30 Okay, these are the things that you must do. These are the things you must not do. Okay, a whole series of things. Every child, when they're about to make their first communion, must absolutely make a confession, first confession, before they make their first communion. You know, this idea that, well, you know, or whatever, and all kinds of things. Well, what we had been doing, one of the things we had been doing was we'd been having women preaching. Okay, women on the staff. Okay, we'll preach maybe every fourth Sunday. Okay, and so on. And we got a direct order. Okay, a direct order. You will stop this. Okay, you will stop this. Well, we had to stop. You know, we had no choice. We just had to stop it. Well, a lot of women in the parish were outraged. They were absolutely outraged. So one Sunday, okay, I'm doing one of the big parish masses, and somewhere early in the mass, it might have been after the readings, suddenly a rather substantial group of women gets up and leaves. Okay. Turns out what they did is they went downstairs into the church hall and had a women's liturgy of the word. Okay. You know, like you have children's liturgy of the word. RCIA dismissal and stuff like that. So anyway, they, of course, they had not told me beforehand or anything. It was all, you know, well, anyway. So, all right. Well, okay, that's out there festering. All right. Now, all right. Let me tell you this, and this I may. This is going to be taped, I guess. But anyway, I'll tell the story. Okay, and I've never told the story. I've never told the story to anybody here before, as far as I know. All right. And of course, this is after the church was rebuilt and so forth. And we had a very nice church hall. The church hall was really done very well. Okay, and we had set up principles to, you know, who can use it. And if an outside group uses under what conditions, you know, they have to pay a certain fee, have a damage deposit, and go through all sorts of, and so forth. All right. So anyway, now we had, and this has been allowed by Archbishop Casey and so on, we had a group called the Gay and Concerned Catholics. Okay, all right, and that's been in the parish, all right. And actually, the Archbishop Casey had, you know, there had been masses for homosexuals in Denver and stuff like that. I think I might have even done one. Okay, so anyway, along comes in the state of Colorado a referendum. Okay, there's a referendum that's going to be held, and as I remember, I believe it's this, that a number of cities or municipalities in Colorado have passed laws against discrimination. You must not discriminate against people because of your gender, race, color, religion, etc. And some of them in recent years have been adding sexual orientation to that list of things where people will not be discriminated against because of. And a petition was circulated for a referendum forbidding sexual orientation to be added to any of these, you know, any of these things. Okay, so that no, you must not do that. So there was a homosexual group in town, and they wanted to hold a rally. Okay, and on their side to express a public meeting to hold their to present their side of the issue, and you know, and do that. And well, I mean, Boulder was this big liberal city. They could not get a venue anywhere. Nobody would let them meet, okay? So they came to us. All right, and as I say, we'd had a reputation of being hospitable to homosexuals. And I remember this, one of these parish staff meetings, it was going on for a couple of hours, and I would get a little tired. And at the end of it, this issue came up. I said, well, how about they want to hold a rally in an auditorium for one night and so on. Yeah, okay, sure, okay. Fine, okay. So we did. We said yes, and they paid their fees and set the whole thing up. Well, they began to publicize it. All right. And so here is this homosexual group defending homosexual rights. Where are they meeting? St. Thomas Aquinas Catholic Church. All right. Well, and they're good publics. But anyway, the phone calls come pouring in. Oh, I'm all over. Catholics from all over. Oh my, outrage. how could a Catholic church be used for this kind of thing? All right. And I remember I said, well, listen, cool. It's just one night. Okay, it's a legitimate point of view. And no, they just don't get all excited. Well, they did. We're going to pick at this place. We're going to pick at this place. All right. The meeting. We're going to pick at the meeting. All right. Well, the night came. The evening came. No, I guess we were all cowards, but all the priests and all the staff were somewhere else. Somewhere else. Okay. And apart from me, I got to fill in what happened from the fellow who rented. In fact, he'd been brought up a Catholic. He'd read things kind of apologetic for the embarrassment all this caused me. But anyway, he told me the story. And what had happened, of course, these people showed up. I think it was like 20, 25 people, presumably mostly Catholics, but I'm not sure of that. And some parishioners. I know at least some parishioners, not necessarily all parishioners. But among them, however, was this really strong anti-abortion group, okay? Not Right to Life, this is Operation Rescue, okay?
Right.
Operation Rescue, okay? And they used to harass, people going into abortion clinics and things like that, all right? So anyway, and so they're there, okay? And so at a certain point, the meeting begins. And I said a couple hundred apparently showed up for the meeting. Anyway, about 8 of them come into the meeting. Okay, they enter the meeting, go up front, kneel down on the floor, and start saying the rosary in a loud tone of voice. There's 8 of these doing this, all right? So, people in charge said, well, I'm sorry, but, we're here, this is a legal meeting, we've fulfilled all the requirements, you have no right to interrupt this meeting, you must leave. We won't leave. If you don't leave, we're going to call the police. Okay. They didn't leave. They called the police. The police arrived. Police told them, you must leave. 6 left. Okay? 6 left. 2 refused to leave. And of course, they're carried out kicking and screaming into the paddy wagon and down to jail. All right. So you can imagine what this looked like. The newspaper the next morning and Denver media and stuff like this. Oh, God. Well, all right, okay, yeah. But now, wait a second, it's not over. Okay. We have a new regime for the Archdiocese in Denver. And of course, 2 of the priests who are high up in the Archdiocese, they get on the phone to me, okay? And it's like a good cop, bad cop, okay? One of the good cop kind of cut off friendly, well, John, we appreciate your difficulty in this. And how can you get into this situation? I can be so stupid. And they're going back and forth. But it was interesting. They really didn't care about the homosexual thing at all. All they really cared about was that women's thing. They had heard about this women's thing, and it was brilliant. I hate to tell you this, but both of those guys became bishops later on. Archbishop Stafford put on the first World Youth Day successfully, became a cardinal and so forth. And okay. So anyway, that's that's Boulder. All right. Do we have time? Oh, do we have time for Clemson? Okay. All right. Okay. I can't. We're running short of time. But anyway, all right. Well, okay. I have written this up. That's okay. The same thing kind of happens. Actually, although I got a sabbatical semester to the Tantor Ecumenical Institute in Jerusalem. Wonderful sabbatical semester. And then when I came back, actually I ended up helping out at UCLA, in California for a few months. About 5 months out there. I had a wonderful time. See, if you've ever been out there, 5 months without a whole lot to do, and I could just see all that stuff I heard about over the years in LA and all. But anyway, that's a wonderful time. But of course, we want you in Clemson, okay? Now, and they had this building project that had stalled, all right? And the priest in charge, Chuck Coleman, very competent, good guy, but they wanted him. They wanted to pastor St. Paul the Apostle in New York, okay? And And then we yanked him up. He had a year to go, but they yanked him up. See, so I show up. They had decided to do, they had, we'd had 3 churches, and we had given up one in Pickens. This is the northwest county of corner of South Carolina. Excuse me. And in these 2 counties, parish is big enough. I'm going to include the 2 counties. The northern border was North Carolina, and the western border was Georgia. Okay, in this whole corner. But anyway, there was 2 parishes. One in Clemson. Okay, the facility is way too small. Then there was a country church in Walhalla, which was the county seat, the seat, Full County, and very, it'd seat 100, 120 people and so on. The Clemson thing had about 300, and they were both totally inadequate. So these people decided on their own, and they were going to take the time and trouble and money to cooperate to build a church in the middle, Seneca, the town in between these 2 places, and build up a whole new 600-seat church, okay? Which the project stalled, but anyway, we did succeed in getting it moving, and that's a long story too. We went through a lot of the usual building things, but I always remember I was told later on that if a pastor ever wants to, if you ever make sure a pastor gets a heart attack, the thing to do is to build a new church. Here's St. Paul the Apostle Church in Seneca, South Carolina. Big 600-seat thing. And I'm out there one day taking pictures of the day we're putting this cupola on top of the church. Okay, we got this big crane in from God knows where, picking this thing up and so on. I'm taking these pictures and so on. And, okay, wonderful, all right. Being interviewed by the local paper and so on. The next day I feeling this pressure on my chest. Okay, the pressure on my chest. I said, well, I'd had a little trouble in Boulder I had some angioplasties and so on. Okay, and so I said, well, I'll sleep on it. All right. So I wake up the next morning. I still have this pressure on the chest. So I called up Doctor Dave Irvin, who was parish, basically our doctor and a parishioner. Okay. And I said, well, listen, I said, if the doctor's got time, I said, I've got this chest pain and so on, and maybe you can fit me in, maybe, Father, you come right, you come right. So as I come in, I was sitting like this here, and Dr. Dave is doing a typical doctor's thing. That's okay. He says, okay, so just sit right there. He said, I sent for the ambulance. You're going to Greenville, which is like 30 miles down. I said, well, I can make it. No. He said, I once made that mistake. He said, the ambulance is going to take you. And they went there and they did, what do you call that? Angiogram and so on. And I still have the road map of my arteries, this is 30-40% blocked, this is 60-80% blocked. You need a bypass. Okay, so I ended up having a quadruple bypass and going through all of that. And I remember by the time I recovered, my first Mass was the Christmas Eve Mass in the new church, okay, the Christmas for that new church, okay. I had somebody else help with communion, but I kind of got through the Christmas Eve Mass. No, okay, and that was it was kind of a great experience, but I thought, well, maybe just as a I should end with this kind of story, but anyway. All right, this is the story of my being denounced to Rome. All right, how many priests do you know have been personally denounced to Rome? Well, what had happened through Paullus' administration over the years, that there had been a recipe used for the bread at Mass, okay? And it was a pretty standard recipe used in many places around the country, certain Paul's places. And we had 60 women in the parish baking this bread, okay? Now, strictly speaking, because it had additives, it was, strictly speaking, illicit. Okay, all right, but we had used this. And the bishop himself had used it when he came for confirmation. He might have been reluctant, but he did use it. Okay. So anyway, now people have been programmed by the Paullus over the years for this, but of course at that time all kinds of people were moving in from the north. You have all these new people moving in, and this one couple, they were outraged at this stuff being used for the Eucharist. Okay. And anyway, we had a public meeting. Okay, I've since learned that if you have a public meeting to air out what are all the issues in the parish, bring your parish council and your people, and let's just air out all the. I mean, come by and come. You know, whatever you have on your mind, just say it. So we just air it all out. Well, of course, when you do that, the people who are unhappy are the ones who show up. People who are happy with what's going on, they don't bother. We got too much to do. You know. So anyway, so we had one of these meetings. Anyway, and but it wasn't too bad. But anyway, this couple, Dietrich was their name. They couple, and they came on this denunciation and so forth, that we are going to. We come to communion here. We're only going to receive under the second form. Okay, we're not going to use that. All right. And we got some other problems. Okay, there were two other things that they were objecting to, and we had what I call the Jerry Aylward penitential service. Some of you might have known Father Jerry Aylward. Now, the Jerry Aylward penance service consisted of this. You had the first half was like your typical penance service, liturgy of the word, and then people would write their sins on a piece of paper. And Jerry had a little fire up in front, okay? And so you would come up in a procession, we sing a hymn and so forth, and you're dropping your piece of paper in the fire. And then a couple of priests would be up there and give you personal absolution, okay, for your sins. People loved it. Okay? People loved it. In fact, I was amazed when I came here and discovered we were still having general absolution. When I came in 2000, we're still doing it here. It's been banned everywhere else in the country, In fact, Bishop Rose was kind of forced to stop it, all right? But anyway, this is the Jerry Aylward thing. And of course, people, as I say, people loved it. Then the third one was kind of interesting, is that in designing this new church, we had this Catholic architect who was kind of good in his own way, except for this whole money thing. And, no, really, yeah. And, but as part of it, a man in the church, a parishioner, who was an artist, he designed this tabernacle. And it was a beautiful piece of work, and it really fit the decor of the church. Okay, now it was translucent glass. You could kind of see that there was something in there, but what you couldn't really see. Okay, so that was part of it. And they said you got to get canon law demands that the walls of the tabernacle be opaque. Okay, canon law. Okay, you got to get. They wanted to get rid of that and get one of the gold boxes. Okay. And I will know enough to do that, all right? Okay, so these are the three things. Well, of course, they complained to me and got no satisfaction. They complained to the bishop and got no satisfaction, okay? And, well, they had a son, a priest, in either Hartford or Bridgeport, Connecticut, okay? Who was in the chancery, okay? He knew the right place to Rome to write to, the right bureau. They wrote to this letter, and all of a sudden they got a call from the John the bishop, John, the Holy See has spoken, the Holy See, John, you got to change the rest of me, you got As I say, he had used the stuff himself. So anyway, I guess that's about it. I've loved it here, but think I'll probably like it down there too. But the last few weeks I've had all kinds of doctoring things. I've been in the hospital and all that kind of stuff. So I'm hoping I still make it.
Only the good die young.
Huh?
Only the good die young.
Well, you're gonna announce me to